Previously on The New Avengers, after the Scarlet Witch suffered a mental breakdown, which resulted in the immediate destruction of the Avengers, the heroes gathered together to discuss Wanda's fate. But they were too late. Wanda had changed reality itself. Before the heroes could put an end to her for good, Wanda disassembled her fake reality, sending everyone back to their old lives. But not before wishing away the mutant gene, an effect whose consequences are still unknown. Welcome to A Marvelous Life. I'm Nashology, and today we are continuing the 2004 New Avengers series by Brian Michael Bendis. If you're new to this series, you might want to check out part 1 through 3 first. And after that, head on over to both House of M videos on this channel. This video is a direct continuation of those videos, as we finally get to see some of the consequences of Wanda's famous "No More Mutants" phrase. Here's a quick science reminder for all you nerds out there. The law of conservation of energy states that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only convert from one form to another. Why is this important? Well, why spoil the fun? You'll see in this video. And with that said, welcome to the story of the New Avengers, Part 4. High above the clouds, a S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier readies itself for the next world-shaking emergency. As the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents scatter to their positions, the holoscreen displays the catastrophe in progress. It's a level red alert. The entire city of North Pole, Alaska has been wiped off the map. And Director Maria Hill will stop at nothing to protect the citizens of the United States. When most people think of S.H.I.E.L.D., they think of this man, Nick Fury, the original Solid Snake. Nick Fury isn't the embodiment of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's Maria Hill. Assuming the role of director in 2005, Maria held the position of top cop for almost a decade. Even when not acting as director, you can bet your ass that Maria's presence was known one way or another. She's an incredibly gifted agent and one human you would not want on your bad side. Tracking the unknown assailant on the monitors, the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents notice something strange. Its readings are completely inconclusive. Of the thousands of energy signatures S.H.I.E.L.D. has on file, absolutely none of them match this sudden aberration. Thousands are likely already dead, and the danger is only growing. They need to get in there and stop this madman before... As if straight out of a horror movie, the S.H.I.E.L.D. tales following the unknown entity have all gone dark. Whatever this thing is, it knows it's being followed, and it doesn't seem to like it. But to make matters worse, he's moving out of American territory and straight into Canadian soil. S.H.I.E.L.D. can't keep up with him. But luckily enough, there is someone on the scene, someone who felt the original impact. And S.H.I.E.L.D. can only hope they can stop this unfettered maniac. Because if Alpha Flight can't stop him, then they truly are in trouble. Alpha Flight are the Avengers of Canada. That's all you need to know. Prepared for the confrontation, Alpha Flight await the arrival of the supersonic intruder. As they yell out to the fast-approaching entity, they get no answer in response. But he's still coming, and he's extremely fast. He's showing no signs of stopping, no acknowledgement whatsoever, and Maria Hill is suddenly hit with a dreadful realization. Whatever this is, nothing can stop it. The static hits the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents like a ton of bricks, filling the speakers with ear-shattering interference. Switching to a satellite view of the area, Maria Hill looks on in horror at the regrettable outcome. This can't be happening. He cut through them like they were paper. And now he's coming right for the US border, right for the American public. They need something big. They need the Avengers. With a palpable intensity filling the cabin of the Quinjet, the Avengers are briefed by S.H.I.E.L.D. Director Maria Hill. Shock sets in as the dead bodies of Alpha Flight are shown to the Avengers. Whoever this is, they're headed directly for Cleveland, Ohio. Director Hill tells Captain America to bring his biggest guns, all the firepower he can muster. With 3 names on his mind, Captain America tells Maria that he only has access to 2 of those names. He's going to need S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Daisy Johnson, to which she swiftly answers no, anyone but her. But Cap won't repeat himself, he needs her now. The next name on the list might be even more difficult, but Captain America decides to call him anyways. He's quite possibly the most powerful human in the universe, when he's not suffering from paranoid schizophrenia. With the urgency in his voice becoming all too apparent, Cap tells Robert Reynolds to get out of bed. The world needs him to get it together. But Robert is too scared to move. The voices are too strong today. There's no way.
Get up!
The rage echoes throughout the Quinjet as Captain America feels himself fold under the pressure. They need every Avenger they can get, every boot on the ground. Standing his ground, Iron Man bravely confronts the walking inferno. In a non-threatening manner, Tony simply requests his name, as all of the parties wait with an anxiety-inducing stillness. After a brief hesitation, the man simply replies, "Michael." Appealing to Michael's humanity, Iron Man asks why he's hurting people, but the inflamed aggressor seems to not understand. However, he seems to be calming down, his aggression lowering. But the nightmare is just beginning. As Miss Marvel blindsides Michael and carries him to the lower atmosphere, Maria Hill looks on in fear as she witnesses the situation go into overdrive, as Michael begins emitting massive amounts of unknown energy. But Miss Marvel can only absorb so much. Excess energy is spilling out of her uncontrollably. She can't hold on. Crash landing back on Earth, Miss Marvel crawls out of the wreckage. Fresh energy still pouring from her body. With her power levels reaching unbelievable heights, the confrontation with Michael has changed something within her. She has unleashed her binary form. Did you ever watch Dragon Ball Z growing up? Whenever Goku got really angry, he would turn into a Super Saiyan, an ultra-powerful version of himself. Basically, he would turn into a god. Well, Carol Danvers can go Super Saiyan. This form is called her binary form, and it happens with a large infusion of energy. She can't hold this form forever, but when she does, even Goku would take notice. Sitting alone, Daisy Johnson struggles to find peace and quiet amidst the afternoon rush. She hates it when she needs to intervene. But luckily for her, intervening is part of her skill set. And just like that, peace at last. But it's not meant to last, as she's approached by S.H.I.E.L.D., desperation in their speech. Pack your things, Daisy Johnson. Captain America needs you. Screams fill the air as Cleveland, Ohio is set upon by the walking inferno known only as Michael. Rushing into the streets, the Avengers know they are extremely outmatched. Their only hope is to quickly clear the civilians from the area. While Iron Man does his best to distract the powerhouse. But this distraction isn't going as planned. As Michael effortlessly rips the armor from Tony Stark's body, as if he has complete command over metal. Looking down in shock, Tony can feel his end fast approaching, but is quickly pulled out of harm's way by the newly empowered Carol Danvers. Realizing she's one of the few Avengers who can stop this, she quickly sets Tony down and heads back into action. But Michael is done playing games, grabbing Carol out of the sky and vigorously squeezing the heroine. But it's not over yet. As Carol Danvers is quickly saved from death by a sudden divine intervention, the Avengers look up in disbelief as the Sentry comes to the rescue. Back on the ground, Carol lies defeated. Thankful she's still breathing. It doesn't make sense. How could he be so powerful? She had the powers of a god at her fingertips, but it was nothing compared to his. Whoever this Michael is, he's as strong as any god she knows. Captain America realizes they're fighting a losing battle. If the Sentry can't win this fight, then nobody can. Back on the helicarrier, far above Ohio, the mystery behind Michael inches closer to discovery. Looking for anything that can help, Spider-Man desperately combs through Alaskan security footage. He notices that the collection of energy that hit the North Pole made contact with a post office. And seconds later, the walking inferno appeared from the wreckage. After a few brief seconds, the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent discovers the man's identity. The man behind the godlike exterior. Michael Pointer, a U.S. Postal Service employee out of North Pole, Alaska. Either on accident or deliberately, this man was chosen by the energy. But silence overtakes the helicarrier as a startling truth settles in. One that's shaken Spider-Man to his core. Michael's energy readings, they have a match. Or rather, they have many matches. And nobody can believe what they're seeing. Thousands of mutants. Hundreds of thousands of mutants. Every single one that lost their powers from the House of M. All the powers that were lost, Michael had found. As the two godlike beings fight each other to a standstill, Michael decides on a new tactic. He needs to get back to Earth. This is a waste of time. So using all of his might, he pushes the Sentry into the deep reaches of space, far enough to finish the fight. Because Michael Pointer has been chosen for a reason. He's just another pawn on the chessboard. Racing up to help the Sentry, Iron Man is still in shock over the recent turn of events. From inside the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, Spider-Man reiterates the news. Michael has somehow been possessed by the collection of powers that were lost from the House of M. But before he can continue, Iron Man screams at him to get away from S.H.I.E.L.D. They can't know about the House of M. But it's too late. S.H.I.E.L.D. knows. And now Spider-Man is officially under arrest.
You might be wondering why the Avengers are trying to keep the House of M a secret. Well, it's actually pretty simple. Wanda Maximoff, a mutant, changed all of reality against humanity's will. Not only are the Avengers partially responsible for this, but they tried to keep this a secret from the world. As you can imagine, even superheroes need to follow the law, and altering reality is probably against the law. If the world finds out, there'll be hell to pay. And looks like the global police force just found out.
Reaching low Earth orbit, Iron Man searches for Michael. He needs to keep him away from Earth, at least until they figure out what he wants. Michael is extraordinarily powerful. He contains the energy of almost 1 million mutants. It's amazing a single human can withstand that much energy. Absolute Hulk-level proportions. But Tony Stark has a theory, and only one theory makes sense.
I know, another rewind, bear with me. Remember the first law of thermodynamics? Energy cannot be created or destroyed. Well, many mutants control energy. Think Iceman, Magneto, Pyro. They all control a specific form of energy. When all of these mutants lost their powers from the House of M, this energy had to go somewhere. It can't just disappear. What if all of that energy gathered together to form a collective? And what if Michael Pointer is a mutant himself with the ability to absorb mutant energy? More importantly, is Michael controlling the energy, or is the collective controlling him?
Waking up to an interrogation room, Peter knows he's in trouble. S.H.I.E.L.D. knows something they shouldn't. Calm and cunning as usual, Maria Hill stares into Peter's soul. She only wants one thing. What is the House of M? And don't for a second think about lying. The Avengers are on thin ice as it is. But Peter isn't budging. He has more important things on his mind. They need to be focusing on Michael Pointer and not the House of M. Every second they waste here is letting Michael get closer to Earth. They need to be on the same side here. And just like that, Spider-Man's restraints fall to the wayside. Maria tells him he's clear. She has everything they need. Disgust fills Peter's eyes as Maria tells him the truth. She didn't need him to talk. She just needed to kill time. Just enough for the S.H.I.E.L.D. psychics to take what they needed from Peter's subconsciousness. In a few hours, S.H.I.E.L.D. will know everything Peter knows about the House of M. Iron Man grits his teeth and bares his knuckles as Michael forcefully propels himself in his exact direction. He needs to buy the Avengers time. He needs to take this one for the team. Live or die, he'll give it all he's got. But the Sentry isn't finished yet. It'll take a lot more than a push to sideline the most powerful human of Earth. Flying in for the assist, Iron Man joins the Sentry in battle, launching his own powerful concussive beam. But playtime is over, as Iron Man is casually tossed to the moon. He's too strong, his energy is too powerful. They can't keep this fight up. A sentiment agreeable to Maria Hill. They need to de-escalate. They won't defeat Michael with brute strength. They need a plan fast before Tony and the Sentry are killed. Looking to her team, Maria asks if anyone has an idea. What have we learned from Spider-Man's interrogation? Suddenly, one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents screams into the comms. They need to stop fighting now. Disengage with Michael Pointer. Every second that passes, he's adapting to the fight. All that mutant energy is making him too powerful. If they continue, he will eventually kill them both. Let him go. Maybe Michael's looking for Wanda Maximoff. Maybe he will lead us to her. A notion that completely stops Iron Man in his tracks. He might be right. So, Iron Man acts quick, stunning Michael with a powerful concussive blast and grabbing the Sentry before he gets himself killed. Before taking off back to Earth, God be damned, the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent better be right. Because now, there's nothing stopping Michael from his mission, whatever that is. He's free to do as he pleases. And with one look of determination, he sets his sight on his goal. What he's looking for is here. He can sense it. The land that was once home to the largest collection of mutants on the planet. Now, it's home to the largest mutant graveyard, Genosha.
Okay, quick recap. The House of M saw almost 1 million mutants lose their mutant gene. And because of that, they also lost the connection to the energy they controlled. Well, this energy gathered together in a gigantic mass and concentrated itself in orbit around Earth. That is, until it was absorbed by Michael Pointer. Now, after waging a seemingly pointless conflict across the world and space, Michael Pointer has now revealed his mission. He's come to Genosha, essentially the largest mutant graveyard in the world, and he's looking for somebody. Let's find out who.
The island of Genosha, once home to 16 million mutants, now home to 16 million graves. Only one man remains, but he is no longer a mutant. Not anymore. Once upon a time, he was a fearless mutant leader, one of the most powerful beings on the planet. But the House of M has rendered him a simple human. Genetic normalcy.
Genosha was a mutant haven, a place where they could live without fear of persecution. But that dream died when 16 million mutants were killed one day by a woman named Cassandra Nova. Now, Genosha is home to Bones and Dust, and Eric Lehnsherr, the mutant known as Magneto, who also lost his powers during the House of M.
As the Avengers touch down on Genosha, the entire sky fills with boundless energy. Up high in her helicarrier, Maria Hill explains that Michael is exploding with energy at the heart of Genosha. Either Michael can no longer contain the collective, or it's trying to violently leave his body. But why? Lifted into the air, Eric can hear a voice in his head. It belongs to the energy. It wants to be let in. It wants Eric to accept it. For the collective no longer needs Michael. He was just a vessel, a stepping stone. Eric is its true purpose. Eric is the face of mutant kind. He's the only one capable of leading the mutants to global dominance. They need him. As both men scream in pain, the sentient energy transfers from Michael to Eric. The sky explodes with thunderous fury. Scattered metal begins to fly towards Eric, the energy now completely revitalizing him. As the energy transference completes, Eric's powers come back, his mutant gene restored. As Eric once again becomes Magneto, he screams in anger. He recognizes this voice, a living consciousness of the deceased mutant Zorn.
This issue throws a lot at you and assumes you're up to date on recent events. Let me break it down nice and simple. Zorn used to be a member of the X-Men, who wore a protective mask because he had a son for a brain. Influenced by an outside party, Zorn once tried to demolish New York while disguised as Magneto himself. He did this because he felt if mutants were to rule the world, the only one they would follow would be Magneto. This plan failed and Zorn was killed by Wolverine. Because of Zorn's psychokinetic nature, his consciousness was tied to his energy signature. This means when all of that energy gathered above Earth, Zorn's disembodied consciousness was actually a part of that collective, and thus he took control. Once the energy was absorbed by Michael Pointer, Zorn used Michael as a vessel to seek out Magneto. Because maybe if he gave all of his power to Magneto, he will actually take down the human race and finally grant mutant kind global dominance. Because if your plan doesn't work the first time, try again?
But Zorn knows Magneto will need a push. To finally destroy mankind, he will need an army at his disposal. He will need cannon fodder to toss at the humans, in endless supply. And what better place to recruit that army than the largest mutant graveyard on Earth, as Zorn uses his powers to reanimate thousands of decrepit bodies, men, women, and children. As the Avengers fight off the swarm, they scream for someone to take down Magneto. As long as Zorn is within him, the entire world is at risk. But he cannot stop Zorn. He can't control this much power. He can feel his heart beginning to explode. But the Avengers can't reach him. The dead are too many to handle. This is a losing battle. If someone doesn't stop Magneto in the next few minutes, billions of people will be extinguished. A massacre so large, Genosha will pale in comparison. But the Avengers might be the first of those casualties, as the Zorn-possessed undead encircle Earth's mightiest. But help has finally arrived. As Agent Daisy Johnson focuses on Magneto's brain, takes aim, and releases. Genosha erupts with energy as Zorn is forcibly removed from Magneto by Daisy's attack. As Magneto's unconscious body falls from the air, Zorn and his collection of energy begins quickly reforming in the sky. Knowing they only have seconds left before Zorn finds a new host, Iron Man quickly encases the energy inside a disruptor field, as the Sentry grabs the mass and races against the clock, flying as fast as he can away from the Earth, and pushing the massive energy into the blistering hot sun. The Sentry flies off as Zorn's consciousness is incinerated into nothingness. All of that mutant energy has now been transferred to the sun, where it will remain for another 10 billion years. Back on Genosha, the Avengers thank Daisy Johnson for her last-minute save. But how did she stop him? Daisy has the power to induce seismic events, creating quakes wherever she chooses. She just so happened to choose Magneto's helmet, sending him into a coma and preventing Zorn from using him as a host. But there's another issue to attend to. What do we do with Michael Pointer, the reluctant host of Zorn and his collective? Devastated, Michael has almost no recollection of the events. Once Zorn took over, everything simply went dark. And although Wolverine watched his friends in Alpha Flight get killed, Iron Man calms him down. He was just another victim. But not everything is gloom. A silver lining might exist. As Michael was left with a gift. Residual energy from the collective. He kept some for himself. As S.H.I.E.L.D. takes Michael away to safety, the Avengers can only wonder, how will Michael use his new gift? How will he make up for the death and destruction he caused? And as Magneto is carried away, one electrical signal away from brain death, Maria Hill tells him he's under arrest for crimes against humanity, and watches with Iron Man as he's taken into S.H.I.E.L.D. custody to be locked away forever. But unfortunately for Maria Hill, one electrical signal is all he needs.
Thank you for watching part 4 of the new Avengers. I know, this was a heavy one, but we got through it. Thanks to Daisy and the Sentry, Zorn is no more, and Michael Pointer is finally free from his influence. And Magneto?
Well, stay tuned to find out. Next up is Civil War and a radical shift in the Marvel Universe. Stay tuned and let me know if there's any series that I should cover in the future. Until then, I'm Nashology, and have a marvelous life.